Jai Nandalala Madi Oli Saranam Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu me Sada. My namaskarams to everyone joining in on this book discussion. I am very thankful to the Hindu Temple of Antelope Valley for hosting this event. We are blessed indeed to begin this discussion during the auspicious Navaratri celebration. The author of this book is Pujya Sri Madhioli Saraswati. She is fondly known as Sri Amma or Sri Akka by her devotees worldwide. The late Pontiff of Kanchi Kamakodi Peedam, Sri Chandrasekhara Saraswati Paramacharyar, proclaimed her as the Purna Avatar of Devi Akhilandeshwari residing in Tiruvanekka. The divinity, out of its love for humanity, had come down to our level and lived in this world. She directly witnessed our sufferings, inadequacies, faults, and used her insight to guide us through. Her books have become the words of divinity and the path for our salvation. Sri Amma has been awarded many awards for her literary creation. The goals for our book discussion would be to increase our knowledge, awaken our awareness, and to empower us to act. Spiritual sadhana is the path or the discipline one takes to achieve oneness with the divinity. Once we set our goal, we have to choose the path we have to take to achieve the goal. Choose an established, well-traveled path to achieve the goal. If I were to go to the Lancaster Temple, I would go along the freeway to reach the temple. Instead of that, if I decide to go over the mountains in a straight line, I would have to face many obstacles before I will reach my goal. There are many saints who have traveled in this path of spiritual sadhana and shown us the path to reach the divinity. It is important for us to choose a path that is suited for us to achieve our goal. Let's take our trip to Lancaster Temple. While we are on the freeway, we use the GPS guidance. There are many lane markers. There are many signposts. And there are many sophisticated devices in our vehicle that make sure that we reach our goal. What do we have in spiritual sadhana that help us reach our goal? We have to look into this. Without this guidance system in place, it is very difficult to reach the goal or to reach the goal in this lifespan. This is where many gurus have taken birth to show us the many paths that are available for us to follow to reach our goal. Spiritual sadhana can be as expansive as the ocean. Without any known landmarks, it is very difficult to guide us towards our goal. Sri Amma imparts very important informations in her book that can be used as milestones. These milestones will help us to make sure that we don't drift off the path. It will also assure us that we are progressing in our path. We should also read the life stories of other saints to help us navigate on our path. If we take Bhakti Yoga, Swami Paramahansa Ramakrishna comes to my mind. His life history has been captured in detail by his devotees. These life histories show us that these paths can be crossed and will take us to our destination. If we could visualize our spiritual sadhana like this garden, it will be so easy to see the places where we are lacking and the places where we have to put more effort. Unfortunately, it is not possible. Discipline is the vital key that makes us be on the path and to progress. It is sometimes like traveling in the dark, but the discipline to move forward makes us reach our goal. After establishing us on a mainstream spiritual path, the question arises, are we unnecessarily burdening ourselves with mental worries? If we have a physical ailment, it is noticed early and it is acted upon early. Mental worries are hidden in the deep recess and not addressed quickly. They can be a impediment to our spiritual path. We need knowledge and guidance to undo these faults in our lives. Without this burden, we can travel easily in our spiritual life. The title of this book is Pain Experienced and the Way It Disappeared. In life, we face many painful situations and they disappear in time. The front cover illustration shows a family enjoying their day at the beach. The children are blissfully playing. The husband and wife are looking at the waves. Problems are like these waves, they always keep coming. Most of them disappear before they reach us. In this front cover itself, Sri Amma gives us a clue that we have to face up to them, to figure out our plan to handle these problems. Pain from fear. The pain will increase our willpower. Willpower in turn will break the pain. Pain can be physical and or a mental challenge. Ancient Tamil poet Thiruvalluvar has composed on strength, which I think is relevant to pain also. The force the strife demands, the force he owns, the force of friends, these he should weigh before the war he goes. Before one attempts to do anything, one should assess the magnitude of the job, strength in doing his job, strength of his opponent, and the power of helpers on either side. A detailed assessment is vital before going into action. Knowing one's obstacles beforehand helps one to adopt a plan of action to overcome them. God has placed obstacles in our path without our knowledge. We have to devise plans to overcome these obstacles to function well. We may be ignorant of impending pain before embarking on the task. Experience from other people will become handy as we prepare for the job. Knowledge of others' experience and vigilance will help us to overcome any pain as we do our job. One has to have faith in one's ability to do well to be successful. Our opponents also will experience pain because of our actions. They will try their best to oppose us. We should consider the pain experienced by our opponents. If we did, we would act in such a way that will decrease their sufferings. They will realize our goodwill and the hostility within us will turn into friendship. If we could patiently think a little bit, it will dawn on us that nothing is impossible. Our opponents will also have their well-wishers. Like us, their interest will be on the well-being of our opponents. Some of our actions will result in pain and suffering for them. If we can avoid them, there will be happiness all the time. When our mind expands with love, it will think about others. It will be concerned for others' well-being. It will go out of the way to find a way to prevent pain and suffering for others. Despite this, if we experience any pain, it will not take hold and fall away by the way it came by. There will be friendship and joy everywhere. Pain experienced will bend our bodies. Our mental strength will make lose its grip over our bodies. Bodily pain is our companion from the time of birth. We cannot get rid of them completely. They will keep coming and going in our lives. It is better not to invite them into our lives. We have to be very careful with pain that affects our mind. Fear is the fundamental reason for it. Is fear necessary or relevant? Why do we experience anxiety? When we are overly attached to any object, it makes us fearful that we might lose it. We must protect the object we treasure. This decision is not destined upon us. It is something that we have taken upon us. The question is possible by me instigates the inability within us. Our suspicion on our ability to complete a task shows the fear that resides within. On the contrary, we should strive hard and finish what is possible by us. By worrying, will that make it complete? When we are too much attached, it is difficult to come to peace by rationalization. Fear arising in these instances is reasonable. Being overly afraid weakens our minds. The ensuing mental agony debilitates our mind. Fear is just a warning to us. It is not beneficial in any other way. God has created an alternate path for us to go every time we experience a trying situation that gives rise to agonizing fear. Courage will destroy the fear within us. Just like being fearful of everything, being courageous every instant is not always beneficial. Our emotions should not determine courage. Emotions flow like a wild torrential river. It only knows to destroy all that opposes it. This type of bravery will bring a different kind of pain within. Just the support of courage is enough to dismantle the fear. It does not need to get fully involved. Soon as the fear starts to ebb away, the pain will subside. Our confidence in our ability to stand up and handle fear will grow. Our ability gives rise to courage. Clarity makes us composed. In the presence of courage and clarity, fear will lose its grip and fall by the wayside. As we overcome the pain from anxiety, it will become our strength. We will know how to handle another painful instance in the future. Sometimes we struggle to find the reason for our predicament. In this instance, we have to let the Lord guide our thoughts in the right way. We have to believe in the divine grace and surrender to the divine will. Courage springs up in the presence of ability. Clarity gives us composure. When composure gives a hand to the courage, fear will lose its grip and be lost by the wayside it came. That experience will increase our mental strength to handle future events. Some experiences show different types of painful situations we face. We cannot disregard them as false, nor can we forget them as irrelevant. These anxiety-creating experiences also show us the way for us to get rid of them. These lessons should come up first in our mind before the fear-inducing experience. The necessity of the situation creates the fear within us. To save our lives, courage arises within us. A hint of fear will always be within us. A hunter experienced a similar situation while hunting in the forest. While searching for a prey in a willow tree forest, he spotted a deer. As he went after the deer, it ran and hid within a hermitage in the forest. The hunter gave chase and saw the deer disappear into a hut in the hermitage. When the hunter entered the cottage, the sage jumped in front to protect the deer's life. The sage argued, advised, and pleaded with the hunter to spare the deer's life. The hunter was adamant to take the deer's life. He even threatened to hurt the sage to get his deer. While this commotion was going on, a loud roar of tiger was heard close to the entrance of the cottage. When the hunter saw the glimpse of the tiger, he got very scared and climbed up a big nearby tree. By then it was dark and he could hear the tiger prowling within the shrubs beneath the tree. The hunter was scared that he might fall off the tree if he fell asleep. He decided to pluck the leaves from the nearby branches and drop them to the ground to keep him awake. The whole night went by in this manner. When it dawned, he could see the tiger had gone away. He slowly got off the tree and could see a big mound of leaves beneath the tree. As he moved the piles of leaves, he could see a Sivalingam hidden within the pile. That's where Lord Shiva had graced the hunter, whose profession is to kill other animals. The hunter had the blessings to do archana with vilva leaves to Lord Shiva for the entire night. This Leela of the Lord took place at Thiruvaikavur. Today it's a place of pilgrimage for Lord Shiva. Fearful situations arise at the instance of the Lord. With His grace, they can become a rare blessings from the Lord. I would like to share my thoughts on this chapter. Pain from fear is something that we experience in our life. It could be as severe to incapacitate us, or it could be mild that we will just keep it within ourselves. By planning ahead, we are able to decrease the amount of pain that we are forced to experience. When we experience the pain, our willpower is the most important thing that helps us to overcome this pain. The willpower can increase as we harness our experience, or the experience of others from similar situations. Sri Amma also brings up another important point. When we do something, if we think about the others who might be affected by our actions, and if we think about them before we act, then there will be friendship all around us. Even our opponents will appreciate our gesture and will reward us with their friendship. When our mind is overly thinking about us, then we try not to think about the others. We might take some action that might harm the others. Our mind has to expand with love. I think this is another key word that Sri Amma is introducing in this chapter. Expansion of the mind. If my mind can expand and it encompasses everything that around me, and I start thinking about others in the community, then my actions will not only think about my interest, but will think about everyone's interest. This expansion of mind is very vital. In this materialistic world, the mind is very rigid and it's focused on one object: progress in career, making money, taking care of one's health and interest, or the family's health and interest. To expand the mind, we have to find situations that will make it easy on us to expand the mind. For example, when we go to the beach and we admire the ocean, the waves, our mind expands and we completely lose our identity and we merge with the nature. Similarly, when the mind expands and we think about others and we feel for others, when they feel the pain and we also feel with them, when they have joy and we feel their joy, then we know that our mind has expanded with love. An expanded mind with love, if you feel it, it should be as light as a feather. So our conscience is what that is needed to check our mind and make sure that it is light as a feather and it has expanded with love to think about others. Then Sri Amma introduces how should we act when we don't have a clue about the future. We have to seek refuge in the divinity, and we should seek the divinity's guidance that we develop the right thoughts and we do the right things. And Sri Amma also says, if we can feel the divinity's protection in our life, if we can feel that the divinity is right next to us and protecting us in spite of whatever we experience, that will even make the tracks left by the pain disappear. Mind is a closed, defined space. Filling the mind with divine thoughts will prevent unnecessary thoughts creep into the mind. Thinking about divinity, seeking divinity's protection to guide us, and feel the divinity's presence will help us win over the pain experienced by fear.